Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 358.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. It is freezing here.
It is a hold your coffee mug morning.
I honestly was trying to figure out if y'all would be offended if I would do the live stream while sitting in the shower. Because I didn't want to get out of the shower.
The water was perfect in there this morning. But it was funny because we were both saying, I think we may have a little bit of frostbite from taking out the trash and feeding the pigs this morning, because I went out, no gloves and flip-flops, and there was like frost all over the cars.
I almost slipped coming down the stairs. There's ice on the steps.
The grass, when you're not used to it, I feel like it's a bigger deal because, you're just, one day it's 80 here and the next day it's 30. And so when you get in the shower, you're like, I can't wait for this hot shower, but then it hurts when it touches your extremities. So you almost have to make it cooler and then work your way up as your fingers, your digits start to thaw.
It was funny because yesterday morning we woke up and we asked Alexa. We don't have an Alexa in here, so sorry if you have one. But we asked Alexa like what the temperature was, and she said whatever the temperature was, and we're like, oh, okay. And so I bundle up. I go outside, and I'm like, it's not that cold.
Right.
It's not that cold. And we were worried because it said it was going to rain, and we were going to pick up our furniture, and so I started building a shed, a plastic shed that we bought like 9-10 months ago, but I had to build a deck for it.
Yeah.
So I built the deck within an hour the other day, and I started putting it together, and I said, I'll go out and work on it. And about an hour in, the winds whip up worse than a hurricane.
It was awful. In fact, it blew one of our chicken tractors like all the way like across our property.
Tumbled.
It was insane. So I see Kelly P is here and saying it's freezing. 17 degrees where she's at. I just wanted to give a shout out to Haley, her daughter, who drew the most beautiful picture of our home. And I just love it. And thank you, because I really am enjoying living inside of the house now. Definitely, we did a good job with the insulation because it is nice and cozy inside the house. And it was such a blessing to be able to have furniture in our bedroom. Big shout out to the pastor and his family who sold us the furniture through Facebook Marketplace.
3 youth came and helped load it all up and then actually drove all the way up here and helped carry it into our house.
What nice young men that they shared with us. And Pastor, if you're watching, share in the comments, because they had said, hey, they watched the live stream on Wednesday with us after they met us. And if you guys are watching, what a wonderful young family.
Faith Life Church.
Okay, good.
Yep, it is Faith Life Church in
Is it Northport?
Northport.
Okay.
Yes.
So I was going to say, Pastor, if you're watching again, share that church. But the testimony, I think, of a good church is its people, right?
Yes.
And the people that we met from this church were so lovely and helpful. And I just thought those young men were so nice.
They were awesome.
Very, very nice.
So welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch. If you are new here, Keto Beyond the Couch is all about our subscribers. We do this every Monday at 10 a.m. We do it live whenever possible. And on Keto Beyond the Couch, we like to celebrate our subscribers. We like to basically highlight success stories and also answer questions about keto and carnivore that we found on our social media from the past week. You can always post your questions, things like that, on our Facebook group or in our Mighty Networks group, which you can find at members.twocrazyketos.com.
It really was beautiful going to the Florida RV Super Show this week, chatting with some people who found us through RVing.
Yes.
Definitely shouting out Alliance today. They were just amazing. I can't wait to share. We've already started rolling out videos from different layouts that we taped, while we were there. More to come. So interesting, some of these layouts. But we did get to catch up with some people who found us through RVing. Some have reversed some major health conditions, lost over 90 pounds. What a blessing it is to be able to share this lifestyle.
So today's Keto Beyond the Couch is sponsored by Equip Foods.
Warming up my mug today.
And so Equip is, they have some amazing protein powders and collagen and things like that. This is their old like bagging. I actually like the old packaging better.
I don't care about the packaging. I love what's inside of it. This flavor is my favorite.
So this is the iced coffee Equip. So they have their prime protein. I do want to let you know they have two different kinds. They have a stevia version and they have a not stevia version. They call it stevia free, but it's made with coconut sugar.
Yeah.
So make sure you're getting the stevia version. But here's the deal. Equip Foods this week launched a brand new flavor. Ours hasn't even showed up yet. It is cookies and cream.
I'm
flavor,
excited.
Available in both stevia and non-stevia versions. And to celebrate the launch of their new flavor, they are basically releasing the one-time only coupon code that we have. So we have a coupon code, 2KrazyKetos, and that saves you some money. And usually it is a one-time only use, but they are releasing that. So this week you can use our code as many times as you want, get 15% off. But also, if you order a bag of cookies and cream, you get free shipping on top of that.
Oh, nice.
So I absolutely love Equip. It is a beef protein. So when you just want to get some extra protein, like for example, in my coffee today, I have a scoop of the salted caramel Equip along with a package of salty caramel vibes. So it's extra caramely.
And I agree with Andy. I think that the chocolate Equip really makes some of the best mug cakes. It just, I mean,
I have a really good mug cake recipe that I need to record using Equip, and it is so good. So if you need to get some protein, use the coupon code 2KrazyKetos, the link that's on the description or the one that's down below, and you will save some money. And again, this week, you can use that as many times as you want.
And don't be fooled. Even the iced coffee Equip does good hot. I'm drinking that right now.
So I did want to say before we get into Keto Beyond the Couch, since you brought up like Alliance and RVing and people coming over here.
Yeah.
There is a method to our madness.
There is.
So as I was going through comments, somebody commented about us talking about cruising. And so like, I'm here for keto, not for cruising. Please stop talking about cruising. And yes, sometimes we go off too many times on different topics, whether it be the farm or something else. But for us, this is all about helping more people find health. And we have had a lot of people find us, find keto, because we've put up a video about a cruise. We've put up a video about an RV. We put up a video about a theme park. So if I put up a video of, for example, how to stay keto on a cruise, that's going to be a whole group of people who may search for that and not know who we are, but they find us because of that. But what I do want to say is that these are lives. Okay, so we do have videos where we put up just keto content for the most part, whether it be like our conversation last week about the food pyramid, or we have a really, really good spicy video / podcast coming out this week.
This is a Rachel rant.
But we have that. But during a live, we kind of let the chat dictate where we're going.
Sure.
So if you have a question about keto or carnivore, post it in the chat, whether it be here or on our Thursday live streams, or whenever we're live, post it in the chat. But if nobody is saying anything, we're going to go by the chat. And if the chat starts talking a lot about cruising, we'll talk about that. If it starts talking a lot about movies, we'll talk about that. So it's kind of, you guys get to dictate where a live stream goes.
So help us steer the ship. And definitely, like you're saying, you know, our heart is for the one more, that there might be somebody that for whatever topic we're talking about, whether they're a scuba diver, they're an RVer, they're going on a plane, they're staying at a certain hotel, and they find us and they give keto a chance. Yeah. And the one more that we reach means one more family, one more generation,
multiple generations.
And so our heart is for changing the trajectory of people's lives, one person at a time.
And if we're talking about something you don't like, again, put something else in the chat. We can read that. That could probably change where we're going, but don't turn us off.
Yes.
That's what we're going to ask you to do. Now, I also did want to just mention that we do have some possible, some cabins left for our 2KK getaway cruise. So if you're interested in that, head down below and sign up. Before we run out of cabins, we will be going on the MSC Seashore this week.
Take a first look at it.
Take a first look and tell you all the ins and outs of what you need to do if you are going with us in October. Let's start off with this one right here from Vicky,
Hey,
which
Vicky.
I spelled wrong.
I was like, what is that?
It said, make sure to include yourself in the list of things you need to take care of this week.
Amen. I'm telling you what, you've got a list. And sometimes, especially in January, we're trying to be more intentional with the people around us. That's a good thing. We've got a case of do better at work. That's a good thing. But don't forget you. That is, you showing self-care to yourself is caring for the people that you love. When you care for yourself, you do show up to work as a better employee. So don't think that you just taking some time for yourself is taken away from anybody else.
Yeah.
It's not.
Now, by the way, I do want to say now, if you are new here, two things. Number one, the way we do Keto Beyond the Couch is we don't pay too much attention to the chat till the last 10 or 15 minutes. So if you want to change the trajectory of the live, wait till then. Don't do it now because we have some pre-planned things. But I also, if you are brand new, maybe you just started keto,
welcome.
January 1st, congratulations on making it past National Quitters Day.
You did it.
Right?
You did
Because if you're
this.
still here, you are 10 days past National Quitters Day.
And you are statistically abnormal in the good way.
Yep.
I love that. Brag on yourself.
Next one is from Rita.
Hey, Rita.
Rita said, while I know that people on here are not doctors, I just had my fasting insulin done and it is 18.4. I know that's really high, though in the normal range. What can I do to bring this down safely? I was over 16 hours fasted at the time of testing.
Oh, that may be part of it.
Well, yeah, two things. Number one, I mean, it's not really, if you're within that normal limit, I think you're good. Obviously, lower is better. I mean, you don't want to get too low, but I'm going to tell you, most people who are eating the standard American diet are far beyond what is considered normal. Okay. So like the normal, like healthy limit is, I think, up to 26, something like that, like 2 to 26. And I know people who they're in the hundreds.
Yeah.
So I would celebrate that. But also, if you're going to go get blood work, again, we are not doctors, nurses, or health professionals, but have a lot of friends who are, and talk to people about this. Talk to Dave Feldman a lot about getting testing because, you know, he runs Own Your Labs.
Yeah. What's the best way to do it?
There's a link for that down below. If you want to get some of your own lab work done, you can save a lot of money and you just go get it drawn and you get all the results yourself. And I'm talking about a lot of money.
And we don't make money off of it.
You'll save more money. You'll pay less for those lab tests than whatever your deductible is through your insurance. Like you can get an A1C for $5.
Yeah.
But 16 hours is too long fasting. That totally screws up your levels, especially for things like your cholesterol. But most likely your fasting insulin is higher because you were 16 hours fasted. Because again, when you're fasting, understand this kind of ties into today's topic, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But your body still needs amino acids. It still needs that protein and you're not eating. So it begins to break it down.
Right.
And when it breaks it down, it's converting your muscle. It's converting protein to sugar, which then elevates your insulin. And so if you were a long-term fasted and then you go get it, it would make sense that your insulin goes up because that insulin you shouldn't have a whole lot of insulin if you are fasting, but 16 hours is probably a little bit too much. Next one is from Emily.
Hey, Emily, I have started noticing that anytime after starting my day with a yogurt bowl consisting of Faje plain yogurt, a half a serving of a keto-friendly granola, 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, cinnamon, and about a 1/8 of a cup of keto chow mixed in for flavor and a few frozen berries, that my stomach starts to rumble, sometimes accompanied by some bathroom pyrotechnics. And I'm thinking I might be lactose intolerant. I seem to be okay with heavy cream and keto chow shakes. However, I started researching and I see that if you switch to a lactose-free Greek yogurt, it tends to taste sweeter, even though there's no added sugar and it's plain. Will I get kicked out of ketosis for the sweeter taste of the lactose-free version of Faje plain, or is plant-based yogurt, while I know is a worse choice because it is plant-based? What's the better option?
Okay, so number one, will you get kicked out of ketosis because it's sweeter? No. The answer to that question is no. unless there's sugar in it. If it just tastes sweeter, you're not going to get kicked out of ketosis. Also, I have to just say this. I say it a lot, but a lot of people just don't understand it. There's two terms we have to remember: ketosis and ketogenesis. Ketosis is your body actively using ketones for fuel. Actively. Like at this given moment, your body is using ketones for fuel. There's no easy way to measure that at home, because your body, even if you were eating 0 carbs, is in and out of ketosis throughout the day, because your body does need some sugar, but it could make it. When it is making it and utilizing it, you are not in ketosis. Ketogenesis is where your body is creating ketones, endogenously creating ketones from your fat and from your food. That is the goal. Ketogenesis. That is the goal. You can be in ketosis and not eat a keto diet by just consuming like exogenous ketones. Doesn't help you lose weight, doesn't help you get metabolically healthy, but you are technically in ketosis. So when it comes, I've never heard of a plant-based Greek yogurt, but I'm sure they're out there because they figured out a way to make everything with plants.
Yeah, I feel like we've tried one that was like in the line with the, you know, the creamer. It's like by the creamer section. We've seen ones at like Whole Foods before.
Okay. So I know, I guess you can make like a coconut type of yogurt and things like that. But I would say that most likely, reading through your comment, you would have to experiment with this. The thing that could be causing your bathroom pyrotechnics is actually the granola, because of the sweetener in the granola. Most of the keto-friendly granolas use erythritol, which does cause some gastric distress and can cause bathroom pyrotechnics. And I would say, before you completely ditch your yogurt, what I would do is try to pare it down, and you're putting a lot of things in there: peanut butter, keto chow, yogurt, granola, all of those things. I would one at a time eliminate them.
Did you see what's the culprit?
But I would, if I had to guess, I would tell you, if you don't think you're lactose intolerant because you can handle heavy cream, which is a little bit different because it's mostly fat, and you can handle keto chow, I would tell you most likely, based on what you wrote, it's the granola. So I would start by making your same exact concoction and take out the granola.
Just see what happens.
Then maybe try that for a couple of days, and then maybe make your same exact concoction and take out the keto chow, and try different things like that and see if anything changes in that aspect.
Yeah.
Next one is from Kathy.
Hey, Kathy.
I am also closing in on 71 years of age. The ideal weight from teen years are so unreal from what our body needs. Yes. Joe's advice on 100 grams of protein and 2,000 calories has calmed down my progress. I am not stalled anymore. Yes, progress is slow and I dislike the goals number, but it is so much more realistic. And hey, it is letting me get to my size 8 goal without stress.
That is awesome. What great news. And, you know, definitely, I think that what can calm your nerves truly is to have more of a goal size or a goal like style or outfit to work to. Because again, what you're trying to do is wear clothes, right? When we weigh, we're trying to get a size that, and usually we're weighing completely buck naked, right? We're taking our shoes off because, you know, maybe that adds some ounces that we don't want to see.
I'm not taking anything off right now.
Right? I know, but I'm just saying, when you weigh on the scale and you're trying to get to that number on the scale is not how you're going to walk out the door anyway. Right? You're going to walk out the door in an outfit, in a size that you feel comfortable in, that you can zip the pants on and close the shirt on, right? So I think it's much more appropriate to life for you to set your size to a size or like a style, an outfit that you're working towards that maybe is a little bit snug right now, but you would like to see some change. And we can do some other things to get to that. Sometimes it has to do with how we move our body and tone our body.
Yes.
You know, so you can feel comfortable. It has nothing to do with what you're going to do on the plate. Maybe you know, how you fit in your clothes has a lot to do with your movement, has to do with stress. I'll tell you what, when I can't, put my rings on, or my face is real big blown up and you see it show up on a live or in a video, a lot of times it has to do with the stress that I put myself under.
Here's the thing is that I think the biggest problem, or the biggest mistake that people make when they start a diet, whether it be keto or anything else, is they go onto these macro calculators, and one of the questions is how fast do you want to lose it? And I mean, to me, it's such a stupid question. It's like,
what do you think?
Do you want to be a millionaire? I mean, it's like, really?
How fast do you want to be a millionaire?
And people choose like fast, but that fast, it really comes with consequences, like a quick stall. It comes with, as soon as you go off, you go back. Because I'm going to tell you that I'd say probably at least, and I'll bet you it's more than this, but at least 90% of people, once they get to their goal weight, just go back to eating whatever they want. And as much as they want. So you've restricted. And then all of a sudden, like, you got yourself down to 1,400 calories. Okay, boom. I weigh 140 pounds now. My diet is done. I'm finished. And then you go back to eating 2,000 calories. Well, you're going to gain weight back, and you're going to gain back fat because your metabolism is slowed down. So doing it slowly is going to accomplish a few things. If you're losing more than a pound a week, you are losing too much weight too fast. Just letting you know. Unless you just got started on keto, where you came from the standard American diet, in the first couple weeks, you could lose 10, 15 pounds. But that's inflammation. It's not fat. It's not even muscle. It's inflammation. Okay. So if you've been on a diet for a while, whether it be keto, carnivore, or anything else, paleo, I don't care what it is, even like doing like a eat less, move more kind of thing. If you're losing more than a pound of weight, you're losing too much weight too fast. When you lose it slowly, a couple things going to happen that helps you not hit a stall quickly. It helps your metabolism stay sped up, but also it helps with the toning, because when you lose a lot of weight very quickly, that's where you get a lot of skin sag and things like that. Think about a rubber band. If you take a rubber band out and you keep it stretched, and then maybe every hour you just move it in just a little bit, that rubber band can come back to where it was. But if you keep it stretched, leave it like that for a week, and then release it, it can't ever go back to where it was.
And I know it's hard to break that mindset of wanting to get stuff done fast, but something just to kind of keep in your mind is, do you know what's the quickest way for me to go from what I'm doing right now to being a stripper? The promise of quick financial success, right? That's how you can talk yourself into doing something that you really shouldn't do. Is, but if I was a stripper, I could make some money really fast, right? So when I find myself going back into a mindset of, I want to get this off really fast, I want change, I want results fast, I need to tell myself, Rachel, you don't want to be a stripper. You want to take this slow, and you want results that are appropriate.
Yeah.
You are not a stripper is the message today.
And with the 2,000 calories, it sounds like a lot, especially for women, but it's really not. I'm not telling you have to eat 2,000 calories to lose weight. I'm saying you shouldn't be eating 1,100. 2,000 should be your minimum to maintain your weight.
It is funny that is something that, because we say, like, the food industry gets things so completely wrong, but like even they are saying 2,000 calories. Yes. Even them.
Right.
And how are we getting this worse?
I know.
Than they are.
And that's something to think about. But if you're a coaching client, and a lot of people don't know that we do provide coaching, there's a link on our website. If you're a coaching client and you come to me, the first thing I'm going to do is tell you, for the first week, I want to know how much you're eating. So for 1 week, I want you to track everything you're eating. If at the end of that week, it comes back that you're currently eating 2,800 calories, I'm not going to have you eat less than 2,500 calories. And we're going to be focusing on protein and fat, but we're not going to take you from 2,800 calories to 1,400 calories.
No.
We're going to take down just a little bit, just enough to get the scale moving. And that's the right way to do it.
Well, and you may come in contact with coaches that are going to slash your calories. Why would they want to do that? Because results that they can put up, but not results that you can maintain. And that's a big problem.
Next one is from Ashley.
Hey, Ashley.
So we bought a trampoline for my son a long time ago, maybe when he was like 5 or so. And then we sold the house. We stored the trampoline at my in-laws' house. That is a nice in-law.
Yeah.
And we bought a new house about 7 years ago or so now, and we just brought it to the house.
It sounds like us.
My husband was going to sell it, but I stopped him and said that I will use it. So I just used it for a bit. It's harder than it looks to continuously jump on it for 10 minutes. It's a pretty good workout.
It really is a great workout. In fact, I learned that through kids' parties because there's been kind of a shift. Even Caleb, who was with his client, one of his clients over the weekend at Chuck E. Cheese. And I said, y'all stayed away from the ball pit, right? Because that's just where like ear infections and like, pink eye comes from. And he was like, no, they've actually, because of Five Nights of Freddy making it so terrifying, they've completely overhauled a lot of like Chuck E. Cheese. And so they've taken out the ball pit because they've gotten such bad press over it. And they've replaced it with a lot of like trampoline stuff. And so there's been a lot of move in like children's play places for like jumperoos, jump around stuff. And a lot of times what you think is you're going to go to the trampoline place and you're going to buy like the all access, not an hour. The value is going to be in like be able to do all you can eat, right? Is where the value is going to be. You get on that thing for like an hour or so and you are wiped out. It is a workout. Yeah. So I'm going to say like,
I recommend
tread lightly.
It, or get yourself a rebounder. Just that in itself. It's movement. Movement is what matters.
It's awesome.
Next one is from Audrey.
Hey, Audrey.
My husband and I are going on our first cruise. 1 week from this coming Sunday on the Sun Princess. We think we're going to enjoy it so much that we booked an Alaskan cruise for August of 2027 on Holland's Eurodam.
Yes.
They are starkly different ships, so it will be fun to see what we like more. I plan to stick mostly to the proper human diet as much as possible. I'm looking forward for our specialty dining dinner at the Butcher Block by Dario. I do enjoy a drink now and then, so I'm sure I will partake in some cocktails and wine. We did not book any short excursions for San Juan or St. Thomas, just plan to walk and explore on our own.
Ooh.
You're going to have a lot of fun.
Yes.
And here's the thing, to not talk too much about cruises because I don't want to upset people, but I will say this. If you're going on a cruise, it is very easy to stick to the proper human diet.
Yes.
Number one, when you go up to the buffet, just look at the meat section. If you want to have some veggies, some things like that. I would not freak out too much about sauces. There's only so much you can control. Just more so avoid the sugary kind of things, the breads and stuff like that they're going to throw at you to try to fill you up so you don't eat all the meats and proteins. But don't freak out because if you're freaking out and stressing about that kind of stuff,
you're not enjoying yourself.
You're not going to enjoy yourself. That leads to stress, which leads to weight gain. So that's number one. In the main dining room in the Butcher Block, just tell them like, hey, can we do this? Can we put the sides? Can we not do the sides? I've gotten to the point now where I just let them put it on there and I just push it to the side.
For time.
Just completely up to you where you want to go. And then my biggest recommendation, if you're going on a cruise, take the stairs.
Yes, you'll
this
get
way. Anything you're doing, whether you're having a drink or something like that, it kind of gets offset a little bit by taking the stairs.
Many people on a 2KK cruise report back that they get more fitness in when they're with us on the cruise than they do like the weeks before, the weeks after, because it's you're pairing it with enjoyment. So it doesn't feel like a chore. It's lovely. And especially when you're looking at the elevator line and you're like, I don't want to have to wait. I'm ready to get to the next activity, or I want to make sure I get a better seat, for the show. So I need to get there quicker. Taking the stairs, it doesn't feel like such a chore. And I just want to praise you for taking the health that you have, that you've worked so hard to achieve, and taking it on a cruise, because that's really what it's all about. It's not about getting healthy so you can stay home. It's about getting healthy so that you could do more.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'll also tell you, if you're going to St. Thomas and you don't want to do an excursion, when you get off on the ship, there are these like open air taxis. If I remember right, they're red. They seat a bunch of people. It's like $10. We actually took it into town to the shopping district. And then from there, We walked to it's like a sky ride. It's like basically a gondola that goes to the top and you can oversee the whole island. Most of the ships have it as an excursion for like $100 and something, but you can do it on your own. You could also take that open air taxi straight there. And then there's a Pirates Museum at the bottom. We did the whole thing, like both of us, for a third of the cost of one person doing it through the cruise line.
Right.
So it's just something to do in St. Thomas. Next one's from Penny.
Hey, Penny.
Vibration plate. What brand are you using, and are you pleased with your results?
I am loving it.
We have the Life Pro Rumblex. There's a link down below. They're selling out pretty quickly. They have a new one, so we have a link for that one down below.
I absolutely love my vibration plate. It's one of those things that I keep in my bedroom. And if you've seen our room, you see that it's pretty small. I on purpose have the vibration plate in my bedroom so that I will use it daily.
Because you're going to trip over it.
Right. Well, I mean, it's like if it's staying in that space, it's getting used. And when I use it, it is so relaxing. I feel so much better afterwards. It really does help. I need help moving that lymphatic fluid, particularly in my thigh area and like up by my butt cheeks. It makes a difference. It really does.
I will tell you, I investigated vibration plates for about 6 months. Never bought one because like didn't want to spend the money. And there's so many out there. And the price range is ridiculous.
It is so it's seriously like Rolls Royce or a Geo.
So when we went to Hack Your Health, there were some there. And then I was talking to Miriam.
Yes.
And the ones at Hack Your Health were like $3,000. And I am one of these people that, if it costs more, it's probably better. And then you've got to do your research.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out that the ones there are like basically overpriced $3,000 pieces of junk compared to what most health professionals recommend. Life Pro by far is the most recommended, has the most positive reviews, and is nowhere near the cost of the ones you see in the mall or at health shows.
Well, and a lot of times at health shows, I see Penny actually purchase one and is expecting it to arrive on Friday. She already got one. So if you're in the market from you may want to check out the Life Pro. But what I noticed at the shows is all they do is, and I see Donna Joe's here, so she can echo this with me because we were doing the vibration plate together. What they do is they crank it up to like 1,000 miles per hour, and to the point where it almost turn your stomach.
Yeah.
And say like, see, it's working because like this feels almost painful and like you feel like you're going to hurt yourself on this. And I find the one that we have, you don't have to crank it. It's got like cycles and I really enjoy that where it's moving in different ways.
Yeah.
I really like that one.
Next one we have is from Nancy.
Nancy Tanner.
When things feel overwhelming, remember one breath, one step, one day at a time.
Something beautiful that I love about Nancy, that she's not just giving you advice, but she is living it out, is her sharing her daily walks on the Central Florida Ketos Claremont Facebook page. Check it out. She also shares it in the movement group on Mighty Networks where she's just sharing, hey, this is today. Because it is we live this out one day at a time. I totally believe what she says all the time is we're better together. Mm-hmm. I think that's true. But I do think one day at a time, that mindset makes a huge difference.
You know who is super inspiring is Robin F.
Heck to the yes, she is.
Right.
Totally like inspiring.
Her out hiking and
one
everything
hike at
else.
A time.
Yes. I mean, and it's got me back. Like I'm getting ready. Especially after the RV show.
Yes.
I am getting ready to get back in that RV and go camping. Like I've had to take a break. I mean, it's not even been a month since we've been out of the RV.
Right.
Right. In fact, last night we were just like laying in our new furniture and in our bed and like, we have furniture. Like we have furniture. And then we ran to Walmart to pick up a couple of things. And when we got home, like Rachel was like, it doesn't get old that I don't have to go into an RV. at night, right? So we've taken a little break, but after going to the RV show, I'm like, I'm ready to get out camping, and we have so many amazing state parks.
Immediately around us.
A friend of ours who was our kids' youth pastor, who actually married Anthony and Sarah, she had messaged us that they want to go camping at state parks here in Florida
with their kiddos.
And we started looking at old videos because we were sending her like, go check out this park, like Rainbow Springs State Park and Waukee State Park and Kelly Park up in Orlando. And I'm like, oh, like I miss that because we've kind of gotten into parking lot camping. And like, I want to get back into the state park.
It is funny because I was just making sure that we had like, campsite reviews in all of those ones because they would be looking at where they're going to park an RV and they don't normally use an RV. So I want to just make sure that they could visually find good spaces for themselves. And I'm looking at us on some of those and we are so relaxed, Joe. There is just like, you could tell we are like just so in tune with nature in that moment because we're camping.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh, I like that look on me.
Yeah.
That glow is pretty beautiful. I want to get back to that.
Let's take a quick fade to black.
Welcome back.
I did see Bobby has a question. I take 15 milliliters. Is that 15 milliliters or is that 1.5?
Of the
15
daily
milliliters
minerals?
of the daily minerals, which has 600 micrograms of iodine. Do you think I need any extra from Lugo's iodine drops? I would say probably not. If you're doing the salty daily minerals, then I think you've got a decent amount of iodine in there. Where is salty? So I actually, if you don't know what the salty daily minerals, they're the old Keto Chow daily minerals, but they're just marketed now under the salty branding. And Dr. Berry actually helped design those because the whole idea was the minerals that we are not getting from our food because we farm on minerally depleted land, our cattle are grazing on minerally depleted land, then this helps to replace that. And it's interesting seeing that even with our pigs. So I would say that if you're doing that, you probably don't need any more iodine, but you could always simply just start watching your iodine levels and increase it if you want. Sabrina said we're going to Mayaca the first part of April. Love Mayaca State Park. Sabrina, if you are coming down here, Mayaca State Park is 15 minutes from our house.
Yeah, so we'll have to get together when you come down in April. We will
definitely have to get together.
I will tell you too that you are going to be seeing some alligators.
Yes, that is breeding season.
You shall see some alligators, and also, if I remember correctly, the general store at Mayaca State Park has some fantastic alligator gumbo there.
Yes. There's like a big restaurant in the back.
Oh, it's delicious.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
So yeah, I would highly recommend using the salty daily minerals. I think if people ask us like about electrolytes, start with that. And then from there, then you can do extra electrolytes based on whatever your needs are. And I think that's a really, really good place to start is with those salty daily minerals. If you use our link, you're going to get 10% off. Okay, let's get back over to these. We're going to start off with this one right here from Tara and Spencer.
Says, I've been on a GLP-1 going on 2 years now. I was taught 3 things from multiple doctors and nutritionists, which surprised me. Number 1, protein first, always. Very least 100 grams. Veggies, and then if there's any room, fruit. Lift and lift heavy. Don't focus on cardio, but implement walking instead. Number 3, if you lose your appetite, then your dose is too high. We should be able to still eat, but make healthier choices and not have the food noise in between meals. I've made great progress and try to preach these things to others just starting keto, plus a GLP-1 is great. Okay, so I know you're going to want to answer on this one. Is this the topic for today?
Yes.
By any chance? Okay. So whenever we talk about a GLP-1, it's like, anything somebody's working on. If you feel the first thing, like I'm on a GLP-1, and as soon as I've heard it mentioned, especially by Joe, Rachel, or anybody else that talks about nutrition, and a defensiveness starts to well up, that you feel like, whoa, are you touching my sacred cow? Check yourself for just a second, because first of all, you know that we love you. And we are rooting for you in whatever it is that you are doing in an N=1 experiment, right? So don't worry about being defensive, because we're going to treat this with care. The number two thing is, you want us to talk about this. And here's why. If you're using a GLP-1, and maybe you'd be thinking to yourself, I think that I am going to be using this for the foreseeable future. I really love this. Don't wreck this for me. You want us to talk about using it appropriately in combination with nutrition, because if people use this wrong enough and they hurt themselves because they're using it with improper nutrition, there is going to be a case to take it off the market.
Yes.
Right? When people hurt themselves, then you want somebody to step in and say, well, hey, this is hurting people. Let's stop it.
Yeah.
Right? So us talking about it and trying to help people use it appropriately is going to be a blessing in your life.
Okay. Can I say something? No.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to say that we are not against GLP-1s.
At all.
I think GLP-1s are a miracle drug, and they are a drug. Don't let anybody tell you they're not.
We want to say peptide because it sounds better.
People use peptide to make it sound better, but they're still a drug.
Okay? Honor the fact that it's a drug.
They are a miracle when used appropriately under the supervision of a doctor or healthcare professional. My problem is these pop-ups of all of these companies, MetaV and Noom and Hims and Hers and Dad's Club. I mean, there's
a lot now.
I'm talking about this. So go, if you have Facebook app on your phone, go open it up in an hour and see how many ads you get.
There's money to be made in this department.
When you are purchasing from those companies, regardless of what they say, you are not under the care and supervision of a healthcare professional. And here's why I'm going to tell you. They're going to tell you, oh, we provide all this. You give them your money. Then they send you your drugs, your medication. If you don't check in next month, they will gladly continue to charge your credit card and send it to you. I know this for a fact. They will continue to send you the medication even if you are not under their care, even if you are not checking in and telling them what's going on. If you're going to a doctor, if you are going to a true healthcare professional and you don't check in, they're going to be like, sorry, bud, out of luck. We're going to do your labs before we give you this medication.
Because I don't want to be sued by you later if you hurt yourself.
So the problem is that you have so many people now going to all these companies and they're getting more and more and more and more and more. They're not really under medical supervision. They're going from taking their one injection a week to, I see people taking multiple injections of multiple different peptides a day. That's an issue. As Rachel said, what's going to happen is people are going to get hurt, and then all of a sudden they're going to take them completely off the market.
From
and you're
everybody.
Starting to see these kind of threats already. This happened with Fen-Phen. Fen-Phen had a place for super morbidly obese people, but then you got to lose 10 pounds, go on Fen-Phen. And then we resulted in losing that. And I'm not saying it was the greatest medication, but it had a place.
Right.
So here's the thing. If you are on a GLP-1, GLP-1s kill hungers, but they don't kill the nutrient needs of your body.
Right.
If you are on a GLP-1, the number one thing you should be consuming is protein. I'm going to tell you, like we say all the time, 100 grams of protein is your minimum. That's if you're not on a GLP-1. If you are on a GLP-1, you need to be consuming a protein and a lot of protein. Protein is going to act as your nutritional safeguard. It's going to give you all of your amino acids that your body cannot make on its own. Understand, if you're not eating and you need those amino acids no matter what, your body will start stripping them from your muscle. That's the problem with the GLP-1s. And as we just saw in the comment, if you are losing your appetite, you're over-medicating. You're over medicating. If you're losing, you're not supposed to be losing a giant appetite, but it is happening with the GLP-1s, especially when you get on a trizipatide. So you've got to make sure you're getting all of your protein in. If you're not getting your protein in, your weight loss is not equaling fat loss. You're losing muscle. And that is the problem, is now when you go off of it, you've lost all your muscle. Your muscle is what's keeping your metabolism up. Protein is going to tell your body to burn fat and save the muscle, because it's going to be able to spare that muscle for you. Here's what I'm going to tell you. If you're on a GLP-1, okay, if you are weak and tired and stalled, you're not eating enough protein. Okay. If you're having hair loss, if you're fatigued, you're not eating enough protein and you're under eating overall. It's not an under eating problem. If you're losing hair and fatigue, it's a medication problem. It means that you're probably consuming too many medications without enough protein. So you don't need more meds. If you're having a problem, you need more protein. Your goal should be to lose fat and keep your strength.
Yes.
So just look at that and make sure you are consuming enough protein. I'm going to tell you, if you're using a GLP-1, please consult the medical. Even if you're getting it online, make sure you're talking to your doctor, working with your doctor, or use somebody like our friend Michelle Hall, who is a certified GLP-1 nutritionist.
Right. Now, and I'm going to tell you, for somebody who's like, I'm on it, but this is really hard. I really don't feel like it. I'm going to say, tough titty, kitty. This is your job. You have the medication, and it is medication that you are taking that is helping you. It is aiding you. It is making food noise quieter, and it is helping you be successful. You've got to do your job. It's doing its job. You got to do your job. And I don't care if it is hard for you to get protein in, or it is hard for you to get strength training in. That is your role. That is your role. And as somebody that loves you, I am going to do you the justice of holding you accountable and say, you've got to get better at getting that protein in, even if it's hard. Mm-hmm. That's just it.
Even if you're not on a GLP-1, protein is king.
Mm-hmm.
You have to consume your protein. Without the protein, you're going to, end up with muscle loss. You're going to end up with weakness, and you're going to end up with metabolic stalls. So please make sure you're consuming enough protein no matter what you're doing. And it's super important. And this way it can preserve having these things available, because we're going to be doing it the right way.
Yes.
Next one we have is from Cheryl.
Hey, Cheryl.
Amy Berger says, if you were on a GLP-1, eat protein like it's your job.
There you go. Don't listen to me.
And she is the protein queen.
Amy Berger is way smarter than I am.
Who, if I remember right, is going to be on the low carb cruise.
Oh, good. Because I love her. She's fantastic.
I believe she is. I'm sorry. If she's not, I'm sorry. But I'm pretty sure she is.
But she is excellent. So don't take my advice. Don't even listen to Rachel. Listen to her. It's your job.
She's got a great article. I'll see if I can remember to link it later on, about protein and gluconeogenesis, because that's the next thing that someone's saying. Well, if I eat too much protein, then the body's going to turn it into sugar. If you're not consuming enough fat, if you're not consuming enough overall. But she's got a great article that just eating protein itself isn't just going to cause you to eat a lot of sugar, or cause your body to make a lot of sugar.
You know, anything that you get that's a blessing in your life, do it with a gratitude. You know, the Bible talks about doing things with excellence as unto the Lord, right? Yes. So whatever you're doing, once we went keto, people were like, well, why don't you cheat or go off it or anything? Because I really do believe that the health that this way of eating has provided for me, the way that I say thank you is I respect it. I honor it. I maintain this way of eating because for so many years, I prayed for answers. I prayed for clarity, and I prayed for healing. And this is what has created that healing for me. So to stay well, I continue to eat this way, even on days when it's hard, even in the midst of temptation to do things differently or easier, right? So it's the same thing. So if this GLP-1 really is a blessing in your life, thank it, honor that fact by doing it right, and not just saying hey, now that I have the food noise canceled. I don't have to binge ultra processed garbage food. I can just eat a little bit of it and go on with your day. Don't do that. That is not respecting this blessing. To respect and honor the blessing that this is, use it in cooperation with proper nutrition. And because again, one of the reasons why we're harping on this is we've talked to many companies, we've talked to different health professionals, and they're saying that they're seeing a 70% difference, a dip in people's engagement with keto and carnivore post GLP-1. What does that tell you? It tells us that people picked up the medicine and let go of the proper nutrition advice that they had come to learn and embrace. They've abandoned what they know to be right because they're like, I don't have to do the right thing anymore because I can take the edge off the wrong thing with a medication.
Well, we saw that with the introduction of things like metformin and stuff.
Sure.
Right. And we saw that with the introduction of all the diabetes medications. I grew up at a time where if you got diabetes, it meant never eating sugar. Then they come out with pills going, now you can eat sugar and just pop this pill. So what does everybody do? They eat sugar.
Right.
Your mother was the perfect example.
She was a perfect example.
Right. She would eat the icing off of a birthday cake and then pop a pill.
Sure.
That's what you're having here. If you can eat an entire package of Oreos and then shoot yourself with an injection and still not have to worry about, because now you won't be hungry to eat anything else and lose weight, why not?
Yeah.
So that's all we're going to say about it. Just don't do the wrong thing. Do the right thing that's going to preserve your body. And then you can have long-term results.
Which is what we want for you.
Next one we have is from Nikki.
Hey, Nikki.
I don't like fatty meats. What can I do for evening meals? So if you don't like fatty meats, I would tell you, still focus on ruminant meats. Things like, beef, whether it be beef or lamb, or, you can get into venison and elk, even if you want to eat chicken. But I would focus on red meats. I would focus on ruminant meats first. Eat the lean portions, but make sure you are adding in fat. Cooking with beef tallow, cooking with duck fat, using butter. You want to make sure you're consuming the fat. Your body doesn't know the difference between whether the fat was actually inside of the steak,
or
marbled
exterior,
like it's a ribeye, or if it was another fat. I would still keep it to animal fats as much as possible, but I would make sure you're consuming it with it. The goal is at least 1 gram of fat to every gram of protein. That is your goal. Make sure you're doing that, and that will help you. But for a lot of meats, I am not a fan of fatty meats. Like when it comes to beef, I am not as much of a fan of a ribeye as I am as a New York strip. With the New York strip, the inside is lean. The fat cap is on the outside. And so if I don't want to eat the fat cap because of its texture, whatever, I just make sure I'm doing a lot of butter. So if you want a sirloin when it comes to beef, just make sure you're cooking it in beef tallow and consuming fat in other places. But I wouldn't worry about it too much if you don't like fatty meat. Just like make sure you're consuming fat with it. Next one is from Salty Salmon.
Hey, Salty Salmon.
We shouldn't be eating anything from this country right now. They've changed the meat in under a year. I shop across the north border for health reasons. We have poison food and have had it way too long.
Well, that is quite a pivot. I'm glad that for you that works. I don't think that that's something that is going to work for everybody, that when they need to go grocery shopping, they can just leave the country to do that. I think that probably the better pivot for a lot of people is to start do an experiment about sourcing your food in different ways. On the low carb cruise, we did a talk about how sustainable is your way of eating. And we showed you how you could begin to look for other more, pasture raised sources of food that's probably happening right now in your state and maybe even in your city or county without you even realizing that they're there. So I do think that it can be appropriate to look beyond the grocery store to find some of your groceries. And I think that's awesome that you can go to another country in order to source your food. But for everybody, I don't necessarily think that that's going to work.
Here's what I'm going to say. The worst beef in the United States is still better than the standard American diet. I don't care if you're getting your beef from feedlot beef, like the cheapest crap that you could buy in the Walmart freezer department. It's still better than eating the standard American diet with a whole bunch of grains and sugar and everything else. You do what you can do and what your budget allows you to do. I will always tell you that, yes, is everything in the United States perfect? I think the worst thing is the grains and stuff, that when we get into our meat, there's only so much we can do to our meat. Yes, a lot of the meat does contain foods where, because it's not the hormone issue, okay? It is the fact that the cattle are being fed feedlot food, which is generally going to be stuff that was hybridized feed or stuff that had GMOs in it and things like that. My always number one recommendation is, if you can, go to your local farmer. Your local farmer, the guy that is down the street from me, is not using a bunch of hormones and is doing the best he can to use non-GMO feed.
Right.
I have not yet met a local farmer who is running the Tractor Supply going, what is the cheapest possible feed that I can buy?
No, because the other thing is healthy food, as we're noticing, healthy food, we used to say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. We find healthy food keeps the doctor away. And the one thing that you don't want as a farmer is a lot of vet bills.
Yes.
Right? So if you are feeding your animals well, you are making your vet trips less frequent. So it is actually more fiscally responsible as a farmer to feed your animals well.
Yes.
Right. And so a lot of farmers, they begin there, feeding their animals well, making sure that they have all the things that they need to get the proper minerals in, to protect their skin, even all of the things. They are doing it in a way that, a normal feedlot is not going to do.
Next one is from Pause a Lot.
Hey, Pause a Lot.
This was a well-done podcast. Sad 10% saturated fat cap will almost certainly keep unsaturated seed oils in the food served in the government-related regulated institutions. All those people won't know how much better they can feel, how much less inflamed. They won't experience the healing I have.
That is challenging. I was so thankful we were listening to Dr. Barry's podcast, and I was like, or his video, and I was like, oh, I'm really glad that everything we had said, he mentioned. So I felt like, okay, cool. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking to be the first person to step out and say something,
because somebody's going to come back and
it's not
argue you.
So I was really thankful that we're not a doctor, nurse, or health professional, but we're right in line with somebody who is, right? And something that he brought up that I hadn't thought about was what a pain in the buttocks this is going to be for nutritionists.
Yes.
Because I'm just thinking about, how people are going to do it at home. But if you're trying to teach somebody, and you as a nutritionist, if you're, board certified, you're going to have to line up with the guidance that is provided.
Which means keep saturated fat under 10%.
So they're going to have this really big challenge of, balancing the recommendation of meats and the recommendation of this lower fat protocol. So I'm really glad that I'm not a nutritionist right now.
I mean, here is the problem. I mean, I got a couple of comments on our podcast and stuff about the seed oil issue. And no, it doesn't expressly say to use seed oils. It just talks about healthy vegetable oils. But again, when you hear vegetable and then you see corn, you're going to be like, oh, that's a healthy vegetable oil, especially when you go into the supermarket and see Heart Healthy on it. It's more of, it didn't tell you to not consume them.
Right.
Even as Dr. Barry said in his video, when I see the little flask of oil on the picture, I'm going to assume it's olive oil.
Right.
But most people aren't going to, and we know what, assume means, right? But
doesn't go well.
The thing is that's the problem. And that becomes the biggest issue. It's more of what it doesn't say. It doesn't explicitly say not to consume this. It's kind of inferring something differently. And as Dr. Barry said, and as we said in our video, that it doesn't take into account that most people are metabolically unhealthy. It's assuming that you are metabolically healthy, and only 12% of Americans are metabolically healthy. So a perfect like picture like they have can't fix it if you're going to consume it that way. First, you have to get yourself metabolically healthy. Then you can go back to that picture.
That is so true, because think about that. Think about the sickest version of yourself, Joe. If you'd be walking up to these guidelines, that is crazy. We were so unwell,
right?
That you cannot assume that the person that we are right now, 9 years later, would have the same results
right
from those guidelines now, like back then.
Next one's from Cheryl.
Hey,
I worked
Cheryl.
in a school and a lot of kids threw away their apple, but it was the juice they drank it. The thinking that was a healthy substitute is a common belief because of lack of knowledge.
It's true. I can remember talking to a family in West Virginia, and they worked, with the school system, and we're talking about how they were using like the ketchup packet was being worked in as like the vegetable of a
Pizza.
kid meal.
I had a friend, our kid's godmother. She would tell you pizza is the perfect food because it hits all of the food groups.
Like the interpretation of things. I mean, it's still, I scratch my head sometimes that you're like, really? Continue to say that out loud. When you say that we're trying to put a like balanced food on this plate, and as a school board, we're deciding that the ketchup packet counts as the vegetable.
Right. Here's the thing. I think the worst thing you can do is consume juice. If you want to consume fruit, go ahead and consume fruit. I would tell you eat local, in season only. But juice is one of the worst things. Someone's going to misquote me. If you're going to drink orange juice, you might as well drink a sugared soda.
It's that bad.
It's that bad.
It's really bad.
And the worst thing that ever happened in this country was places like Jamba Juice. That made America fatter.
Remember, we were on a cruise, and you actually, because they were doing fresh squeezed orange juice, and they, you come out with this little cup of orange juice, and you went and asked the gentleman that was making them.
It's in a video.
How many oranges does it take for you to get this much juice out?
It's like 4 oranges.
It was a lot.
I grew up, my grandfather lived in Miami, used to send us juice oranges because he had a juice orange tray in the back, and you would squeeze the orange and be like, what's up with that?
Right. So if you would sit there and say, okay, I'm going to still work in orange juice, Rachel, I just really like it. Okay. Go eat 4 oranges. And how many?
Can't.
It's very challenging. Or at least there is some point when you are taking a bucket of oranges to your table, they're like, this is borderline inappropriate, right? Yeah. Because how many people go back for a second glass of orange juice? Now we're 8 oranges. Now we know that's crazy.
Next one is from Zombie Nations.
Hey, Zombie Nations. I have an egg allergy where I can essentially only eat fresh eggs. By the time they're at the grocery store, I can't eat them without risk. My chicken costs like $14. They more or less take care of themselves. If they have food and water and something to scare off a fox, aside from my own allergies, I have not noticed any difference in flavor or consistency when used for baking, etc. Just recently had some ducks who flew south but might come back. They produce larger eggs. They also tasted pretty much identical. Ducks were cheaper than the chickens, and ducks really need a little pool or pond or something, though. I have both. IJS in the Mississippi is literally 100 feet away, so it wouldn't matter much if they just left. So I never cut their wings or nothing. Okay, talking about raising ducks is a little bit more challenging than chickens.
The problem with raising ducks is
Easter egg hunt?
You have to go Easter egg hunting. They don't just lay in one place generally. They're just wallowing like, oh, egg, I got to squat, and here comes my egg.
Right.
Here's the thing about eggs, and I would tell anybody, if you have an egg sensitivity, try pastured eggs from a local farmer before giving them up completely, because eggs are the perfect food. They are the absolute perfect food. You think about eggs, they bring life. They have every single vitamin and nutrient that you need in them. The problem is the eggs you find in the grocery store, those chickens are not eating the perfect, proper chicken diet.
Right.
They are being fed just chicken feed. Chicken feed has no meat in it. It is literally just vegetarian stuff. You'll actually see there is one company, I won't say their name, but there is one company that puts themselves off as the best egg. They call egg best. And it says right on the package, fed a 100% vegetarian feed. That is not a proper chicken diet.
Right.
Chickens are omnivores. If you lay on the floor of your coop, your chicken will eat you.
They will eat you.
Okay. If you put anything in there, if we have bones from chickens,
You have the
after we cook
leftover
a chicken, we
carcass.
throw the whole carcass in the chicken coop. And in the morning, there's barely left any bones. They eat everything.
One of our older chickens died recently. She was quite old. She'd come from, from our first batch. And we found her. She passed away in her sleep and fell off the coop thing. And I found her the next morning, and the other chickens were getting ready to eat her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They will eat anything.
Yes.
So that's the problem with the chickens in the chicken eggs in the store is they're being fed GMO feed, mostly like corn and soy. It's got to be 17% protein so they can get their eggs. Usually they try to up it. Those chickens are also exposed to almost 24 hours of light. Not to mention that when you have a hatchery and they're growing their own chickens, which what they do is they don't need the boys when the eggs hatch out for them. So they take the boys and they throw them into a macerator alive at a day old, and then that becomes pet food.
That's the pet food.
So like the whole process of how store-bought eggs come about is kind of sickening. So again, go to your local farmer. Generally, you're going to pay even less money than you're going to pay in a store anyway, but they're being fed a good feed. I was actually in a Facebook group and there was someone, their chicken had a mouse hanging out of its mouth. And they're like, is this normal? I'm like, yes.
Very normal.
Chickens love mice. And that's why you don't put poison down around your chicken coop, because you don't want to poison the mice. Let your chickens eat them. They will eat anything. And the more meat they eat, the better they are and the healthier your eggs are.
I see Sabrina said, I told someone from church about my hamburger and butter fast. And she looked at me and said, is that healthy? She's about 100 pounds overweight. And I had to hold my tongue. I've run into that as well. It is so hard. It's one of those things where you're almost immediate. If you're in the South, your first reaction was bless your heart. Yeah. Is the first thing that you're thinking of. But yeah, it's hard.
Last one we have is from Storm Chasing Down.
Well, hello.
Hey guys, I ordered the peanut butter tallow brick in stock. Do y'all like that one? I love that one.
Yes.
Especially if you mix it with the chocolate.
My favorites are the tallow versions. For some people, they don't like that as much because there is a different mouthfeel to the tallow, but I just really, really enjoy it.
Let's get into the chat for a little while. John said, I was told pizza was the perfect brain food for breakfast before a big test in high school. It kind of true if you eat it like we do and leave the crust behind.
Sure. So Sean said, Sabrina, that's when you show her your before pictures, their mouth will drop as you ask them more about, the fast. And then I see Sabrina said, she's been here for the whole journey. Like she actually knows, she has seen me before and now after and still wondering. I think sometimes when you get that kind of pushback, it's somebody that doesn't want to have to change what they're doing. So they just kind of are like, I can hold off in doing what I know I probably need to do by just continuing to ask questions of like, I'm not sure this is safe. So you can get kind of in like analysis paralysis about moving forward in your own health journey if you just continue to create suspects. Like, I'm not sure. I feel like this is dangerous. It doesn't sound right to me. Give me more.
Sean said, I was on metformin and Jardiance for 10 years. They never told me about the side effects of those medications, like neuropathy, then fatty liver disease, and HBP. What are they hiding about GLP-1s? And again, this is not, I'm not trying to be an anti-GLP-1. I'm not anti-GLP-1.
No.
I want to get that clear. I am not anti-GLP-1. I am anti-buying it online from a telehealth company and not doing it with the guidance of a true medical professional, whether it be somebody like our friend Coach Michelle Hall or your local doctor or nurse practitioner or DO, but somebody who has an active role who is not selling you the medication. That is the key. I have thought about like, I should experiment with it just to see what people go through, but I can't afford it. Okay. But we do have a friend.
Yes, Erin
Power.
Oh, she is showing some chutzpah going on there. I mean, she is going to get
She is
killed
like one
on
of the lead
internet.
facilitators from Primal Health Coach.
And she has got some balls, dude. She is going out because she has a lot of coaching clients that have gone through it. So she did do the experiment of going on it herself to see what would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And she
did microdosing and said didn't eat for like 5 days.
She is showing what could happen. What absolutely could happen, and saying that, it might not be for everybody. For some people, I know Larry, because Coach Michelle is actually his coach. It's been a real blessing in his life. But for some people, they don't really authentically need it. It's about getting off that 10 pounds that they're just like frustrated by. And what it could do, and even when she was talking about how this could set back her lifelong eating disorders by 20 years.
Yeah.
Because she is now in the process. It's like, here it comes. Going to have to gain the weight back and more after this, situation. So I feel like it's really important for us to have some of these hard tests, because right now, everybody that's talking about GLP-1s are only showing you the party of like volleyball on the beach and all of this stuff. And we're not yet seeing, hearing the script in the backgrounds, like, side effects may include da-da-da-da-da-da-da. They're not even showing you the side effects.
Well, that's another whole thing that I know there's a lot of anti-RFK, but I know they're trying to get all drug ads off of the television. I will stand up and applaud that tomorrow.
Heck yeah.
Right? Please, there should be 0 drug ads on television. 0.
Because most
they
of them
shouldn't be there.
They're only going there so that you'll talk to your doctor about this thing.
Yeah.
If your doctor thought, like, looking at your information that you could benefit, they'd probably start the conversation with you. But it's like, I want longer lashes.
Yeah.
I want to have less boogers. Should I use this medicine?
So Chicky Mama said the comment was actually from me. Just speaking of my experience with my doctor and nutritionist, I didn't do telehealth though. My doctor is very involved, and I'm glad you're talking about this.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the comment. We need more comments like that. Please put those kind of things up that you think are a good discussion, whether it's something you're going through or something that you have a question about. The last thing I want to say about them this, and this is going to really upset somebody, right? If you have a history of an eating disorder, of either bulimia, binging and purging, or anorexia, don't go on a GLP-1. It is going to re-trigger it. I promise you, it is going to re-trigger it. Number one, because you're going to go back to not eating. And then when you go off of it, you're going to gain some weight back.
And that's going to crush your soul.
And that's going to re-trigger it. Like, I would strongly encourage, if you have to go on a GLP-1 and you have a history of bulimia, or you have a history of anorexia, not only should you be doing it with a medical professional, you should be doing it with
therapy,
with some type of a mental health professional as well, because you're going to need it. And I know that we will get so much hate for that.
But it is true. I am not
have to care.
I am not loving you if I don't tell you that.
Yep. Bride's Biscuit said, for me, completely redefining my relationship with food was required, but the foundational change was transformative. Decades of addiction can't even sidetrack me at this point.
That's all. And you know what? There's similar things that we're not just picking on GLP-1. If you have had gastric bypass surgery or a sleeve, or, you've had the lap band or anything like that, you're going to have a harder time prioritizing protein and making sure you get it in. It's got to be your job too. If you have utilized a surgery to help you with something you could not do for yourself, you need to be in gratitude of access to that surgery and what it's been able to accomplish in your life. Some people are like, man, this was a lifesaver. This saved my life. I needed to do this. Okay. Then show gratitude and do your part, because you can still do your part, right? And that is to lead with protein and make sure you're nourishing yourself properly.
Bride's Biscuit said, slow, sustainable, consistent weight loss and some mild resistance training will get you where you want and in a healthy way. It's a paradigm shift to see it this way instead of through ads and influencers? Yes. And again, not against GLP-1s. We had a GLP-1 company reach out to us and offer us, no kidding, they offered us $1,500 a month to talk about GLP-1s in at least one video a week.
I could make money if I want to make money off of this.
But I have two things
that's not
in my life that are super important to me: my faith and also my integrity. Neither one of them are for sale.
No.
And so if there is an influencer who is pushing GLP-1s and then they also are making money, they're sponsored by a GLP-1 company, I would strongly encourage you to start looking around. And again, there's a lot of them. Yeah. But there's a problem when they're telling you to use this and then they're getting paid from the company. We had a company a couple years ago in the RV world offer us a free RV. And I'm like, what's the catch? Well, you have to talk about us a lot. You can't talk about anybody else, and you can't ever say anything bad about our company. Well, then am I using your RV because I like your RV or because you're paying me to use it?
I can't look at you guys if we're doing that. So if I say I'm proud of you while you're on a GLP-1, or I'm proud of you if you've chosen this isn't for me, you can trust it. I think trust is very important, especially if you're saying we're a community.
Right.
I want this to be a community that you can trust. That's important.
Mike said, I've been on Mounjaro for 9 months. I lost 40 pounds. That's a decent progress.
Yeah.
That I was struggling to lose even on keto. The need was my very high blood pressure that immediately dropped upon losing the weight.
That is awesome.
Penny said anyone taking a GLP-1 should be doing scans to check on muscle composition.
That's a great idea.
Agree with that.
Great idea. That actually is fantastic advice. Yes, that is something you want to do because you want to know what am I losing, because sometimes we lie to ourselves, right? And we say, well, I'm thinner and that's it. That's all I really need. But what is going on? Is there a bill that's going to come due as far as your strength goes?
Yeah.
So if you're losing weight and you're using something like this, then yeah, go and regularly let that be part of the budget. Is I need to go get a body scan. Sometimes it's better to go like get a cheap airline flight and go to another state that has them cheaper. Yep. Because I know in Florida it's very expensive to get these things, but like Texas, we've had good, luck with it. So get one of those cheap flights and schedule one of those bod pod things and find out what is going on. Like, are you losing muscle or are you truly, just losing fat and conserving your muscle?
At minimum, get yourself an in-body scale at home.
Sure.
And just the biggest thing with the ones at home, I'm going to tell you, make sure that you are being consistent with the way you're doing it. Like check at the same time every week that you're checking. Try to make sure you're the same hydration every time you're checking, because like your hydration can throw those results off a lot more. So just make sure you're kind of keeping everything the same as much as possible. Annette said 2,000 calories, not a lot of food, if that food is centered around fats and proteins.
So true. That is really true. Because again, it can be scary when you hear that if you've only ever been in like the 1300s, 1500s, that like that, and you start to see a 2 in the front of like your calories, that just sounds scary. But if you get, no kidding, 3 meals a day of meat and protein, protein and fat, it adds up quickly. It really does.
Bride's Biscuit says us and New Zealand. That's it. No other
industrialized societies on the
planet allow pharma ads. Yeah, it's time to get them off.
Yeah.
It's time to get them off. Like they should go away with the way smoking ads went away.
Sabrina said, my ex-husband had a stroke, found that he was diabetic with HBP. Doctor put him on blood pressure medications, metformin and a GLP-1, and it almost killed him. My oldest son had to take the bull by the horns and fix the issue. That is so hard. And it's, I'm so sorry that that happened to him. And then again, yeah, that creates a really challenging conversation within a family dynamic.
Right.
You know?
Okay, we're going to get off, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Now, Rachel will be doing her coaching live stream for the paid
Tuesday.
members of Mighty Networks tomorrow. So if you're in Mighty Networks and not part of the paid group, Rachel does a coaching call for anybody who is supporting us in the paid version, which you sign up if you're already in Mighty Networks over on the left-hand side in the different group section. And that will be tomorrow at 10 a.m. because we will be going on a cruise on Wednesday to check out the MSCC shore. Also, we will not be having a live stream on Thursday because we'll be on the MSCC shore. We'll try to do some check-in while we're on the cruise, but I've never been on MSC, so I don't know how good the internet is, so we don't want to promise any kind of a live stream. If we can kind of jump in live at all, we will. But we will make sure we have some videos coming out this week. And we will be back again live next Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern for Keto Beyond the Couch. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button to be notified because we do have a pretty cool, interesting, spicy video. Rachel's going to get spicy.
I'm going to get some spices.
And that will be coming out this week. Have a great day, guys.
We love you guys.
Bye.